kick us off on the Cavs.
Yeah.
We talked about it at the party yesterday, and you said this is exactly the way you thought it was going to go.
This was how I thought it went.
Yeah.
I thought game one was a good indicator of whether you know ball or not, based on what you expected coming into the series, what we learned in the pregame of who was or who wasn't playing, and then how it panned out. So we're going to dive into more of the preview section of game two coming up later in the show. But Zach, Jay, and G, I want to start with you. Did what you see in game one make you rethink the overall complexion of this series and how competitive it may or may not be? G, what do you say?
No.
Would you have 5?
I had
Cavs in 5?
I had Cavs in 6.
Oh, okay.
So here's the thing. I'm a little bit. I'm still don't believe that I'm just gonna go into this thing and be like, oh yeah, they're gonna smoke them. If it happens to be that they go out here and they smoke them, congratulations. I'll shake their hand. I like it. But for me, I think the Cavaliers, as you can see, I'm happy. I got my G. Bush personalized jersey on just for you guys. And by the way, this is not James Harden. This is G. Bush. James owed me. He had to cash at me because
nice.
When he came in, like I told him I would let him use that number.
You know he paid Max Strus $250K for the number, right?
Yeah.
What'd you get?
Yeah,
250.
Yeah. He's
take the K off.
Yeah. 250, right? So, but I thought they came out and handled business. I thought that they did a nice job of actually answering what Toronto was doing. Now, McNuggets, I'm a little disturbed that Shed is shooting a high percentage from the 3-point line, like I told you they was gonna do.
That won't last.
Look, right? I don't like. I'm like, and then it's crazy because last week I said McNuggets. The problem with the Cavs is that every person that plays against the Cavs is automatically the next coming of Steph Curry. Scotty Barnes comes out and hits three straight threes in the beginning. I'm like, oh boy, but I do like the fact that the Cavs were able, every time Toronto did a little something, they were able to come back and be like, no, we're not going to have that. And you saw what it looks like when you get an aggressive Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
I thought
Jared Allen at times.
Jared Allen. For me, the two things that I really liked and was encouraged by was Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. And, when you listen to the broadcast, they kept counting dunks. And I just thought they were aggressive. I think the one play Evan Mobley made where he gets the ball, weaves to the basket, and he dunks left-handed on Scotty Barnes. There it is. There it is.
You timed that out
There
perfectly.
it is. Let's go. That's what we call the omniscient vision. I knew it was coming in the setup. He hit the three. I like that. That's the type of Evan Mobley that they need to see. I like the fact that James Harden 22 points. I like that. Donovan. I don't know, Donovan in the playoffs, he's going to give you 30. Yeah. That's just what he's going to do.
I was Cavs in 5, and if I'm wrong, it's Cavs in 4.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I feel like, look, I might be wrong. We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm on the side of the clearly better team. I think they showed that. They're better inside. They're better at guard. They're deeper. And Toronto obviously doesn't have their point guard. That's a big loss. So whatever you think about quickly, mid-player, okay player, that makes an already thin team even thinner. But the Cavs, look, Harden was phenomenal. Mitchell still got his numbers. The big guys had their highlights, but didn't have to do any heavy lifting. Right. Strus was great. Like this is Mike said it, Garrett said it in different ways. This is what you wanted to see, right? This is what you need to see, and it's just game one. They got things to work out. We're not throwing any parades quite yet, but you have to be both impressed and pleased with the way that one went.
Yeah, I'm with you. I still stay Cavs in 5. I threw in 5 to begin with. I thought that this could be a sweep, but I thought, a team runs into one. Game 3 is going to be tough. That Toronto crowd we know what that is. Yeah. They might steal Game 3 at home. I still think it'll be Cavs in 5. The one thing, and Mike, we talked about this yesterday, the one thing that I really was impressed with, at the beginning, we know that the perimeter D for this team is invisible. It's non-existent. And when they started hitting their threes, we had talked last week about how does Toronto make it a series? Well, they hit their threes. They're not going to do that. That's not who they are. I think the Cavs will allow a lot of threes, but this Toronto team doesn't have the firepower. They don't have the depth. I thought, really, if you're looking at like a blueprint for how the Cavs can make a deep playoff run, it's, and I know it sounds so simple, but they don't always do this. It's to get contributions from everybody.
Yeah.
And they did yesterday. Yeah. I thought, Saturday, the inside played very well. I thought the two of those guys were very aggressive. I don't know what Kenny said to them before the game, Mike. I don't know if he talked about it in postgame. But for whatever reason, I think this is a nail that needs to be hit about every 40 seconds or so. Aggressive, because they talk about it when they do in-game interviews and even after games. They're like, yeah, I was aggressive tonight. And it's almost like they forget about it for the next game, and they constantly have to be reminded. So I hope Kenny stays on that note. Be aggressive. And if those guys play like that, and they're not always going to throughout the playoffs, really, there was only one surprise so far. And I don't even know if that was a surprise because we all said Detroit was fool's gold. I've been saying it all year. I don't buy this Detroit. I didn't think they'd lose to an 8 in game 1 the way they did.
Bell to bell, too.
But you texted something yesterday that I was thinking. You give a competent offense against JB in the playoffs, and this is what you get. Yeah. This is what it looks like. So
I don't want to dive into the Pistons yet.
I know.
We just had to throw that
out. In terms of the
everything else played out exactly the way I think we thought it would.
In terms of the aggression part of it, though, that's what James Harden was kind of brought here to do.
Yeah.
And if you go back, he had 10 assists yesterday. I got a number for you guys coming up in the second hour that's going to blow your mind on how
you got a 5-piece of McNuggets stats.
I do have a 5-piece of McNuggets.
I love it.
From game 1. One of them is directly involved in how well the Cavs shot off James Harden's direct passes. But when he is constantly feeding the bigs in these pick-and-roll situations, and frankly,
that's what he does,
I thought Toronto's defensive coverage against these pick-and-rolls made no sense in Game 1. We'll talk about that when we talk about the Game 2 adjustments. They were trying to pick up high but not high enough, and they were letting Harden get back to his
They looked lost, Mike.
They did, and maybe that's without their point guard. Maybe that's just a new coach in his first ever playoff game. It's a young team. Who knows? But to get that aggression, you have James Harden continue to dominate the basketball and feed the bigs when they're open. And, G, to your point on the Raptors shooting threes, if I had told you before the game that R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, and Jamal Shead were going to combine to go 11 for 16 from 3, that's a recipe for Toronto stealing the game.
That's how they win. Yeah.
They lost by 13, and it was never close.
Yeah, it wasn't
that could
close.
Be the good Toronto shooting game in this series where 3 different guys shot well above their expectation, and it still wasn't competitive.
But, Mike, do you think that's a product of them just getting a hot hand? I think it's a product of the Cavs' perimeter defense.
They only gave up 27 three-point attempts. I thought they did a really good job guarding the 3.
Was that more Toronto just deciding not to shoot the ball more because that's not who they are?
They don't shoot threes. Yeah, they don't. I mean, Shed made 3 of Shed's 5 makes were tough shots. And the shot clock, hand up. Sometimes you just give, hey, good shot.
Yeah.
Good offense beats good defense in the NBA.
Yeah.
But that's a game, if you just told me that stat alone, Shed, Barnes, and Barrett, we're going to combine to go 11 of 16 from 3.
Yeah.
I say, that don't bode well for Cleveland. No. And it was literally never competitive after the first quarter.
It's crazy.
We've been talking for weeks, Cavs' 3-point defense, obviously a worrisome, right? Yeah. But if they just make more, And Toronto's not a team that wants to shoot threes, which I think looking tonight and into Thursday, they're probably going to shoot more. So if they shoot that percentage, it's going to be trouble. But I think you're getting them out of character. I think just the firepower. The Cavs have more of it.
Yeah.
More ways to attack.
And we talked about Max Strus and his contributions all year. Is he going to be ready? What are we going to see from him?
Yeah.
He did come back later than all of us thought and hoped he would. My God, though. That's why he's here. Yeah. He is a fire plug. He does so many things. And I think one of the best things he does is he energizes the damn crowd. You can feel the crowd feeling off his excitement.
For me, I think if I had to give a player the game, is Max Strus. I think he had 22 points.
24.
The play at the end of the half where Donovan Mitchell throws this little lob and he lays it in and he goes crazy.
His clock awareness there was crazy. I didn't think he was going to get off the shot.
I didn't either. He knew exactly where it was at. He kind of laid it in, and then when you look at the Cavs, to them, I think those two. If Mobley's going to give you what he gave you, and he's giving you that, the Cavs can beat pretty much anybody. They beat a lot of people with that.
I never thought that before. Can we go back to that still of Max Strus? He resembles a little bit. This is going to sound crazy, but he resembles a little bit of the Geico caveman in that picture. That's not a very good picture of him.
He's gone full Ricky Rubio, actually.
I've never thought that before of Max Strus. I don't know. Now we can. He's kind of got the Geico caveman look going.
He actually, if he let it grow a little longer, for his Easter play at church, he can play Mr. Nazareth.
He has the man bun now.